Good morning, everybody. This is PGMT 612. This is my week 3 blog. I tried this with, PMGT week 3 blog. I tried this in Dr. Evers' class. He seemed to like it in PMGT 611. So I thought that I would try it here. Dr. Agani, if you don't like this medium, just let me know, and I'll do something different next time. So I wanted to discuss one of the topics for the blog was based on reports you have watched or articles you have read. Describe an event that is a result of a cross-cultural conflict. One of the things that is a huge issue right now in the United States is immigration reform. And just from my beliefs and the way I feel, I believe that everybody should, if you want to come to this country, you should do it the correct way and the right way. I am all for bringing more people into this country to give them the chance of the life that we live and we enjoy. But I am also for making sure that those individuals do it legally and correctly. So one of the articles that I found on cross-cultural conflicts in the workplace was very interesting. It didn't really deal with something that's going on right now, but it dealt with how things happen in the workplace in areas where there is a cross-cultural conflict. And within this article, they dealt mainly with Hispanics, but I believe that this can hold true for everybody, any foreign, any person from another country. That their cultural beliefs and the way they do their work is different than how we are in the United States. The United States has always been very strict and on time, and we need you here to do this, we need you here to do that, we need you, I'm your boss, you're going to do it this way, and I don't care what your problems are at home. That happens a lot with our culture. So sometimes there's a confusion between a person from another culture coming into an American workplace, and it's hard for them to grasp, why is my boss mad that I was 5 minutes late? Because where I come from, 5, 10, 15 minutes late, that's okay. I've always heard in Europe, and I've never been there, but a lot of times I've never been there for work, but I've always been told that when you say 8 o'clock, it's for a European, it's 8-ish. You could be 15 to 30 minutes late for a meeting, and that's very hard for Americans to understand. So, that's something we need to focus on. So what I've got, and I'll have this article posted up in the blog, the reference, so you can see it. But if I go to my screen share real quick, ensure that that's up, and hopefully everybody can see that. This is from the Culture and Language Training for a Multicultural Workplace, the Center for Training, Cultural and Language Training, and they posted a very interesting article on cross-cultural workplace conflicts for Americans and Hispanics. But I think this can definitely apply to all cultures. One of the first 3 sources of cultural conflict within the workplace is concept of time, and which I just discussed. Many foreign nationals believe that when you say a certain time, if I get there around that time, then that's okay. But as far as the United States is concerned, it's a very strict. I want you to be here at 7 o'clock. I want you to be here at 8. you got to be there at that time, and that's what we expect. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just something that we as Americans have created and we believe in. And I have no issue with a manager feeling that way. I work for a manager that is extremely, he wants you to be on time. He wants you to be there at 7 o'clock, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I can work within that. But once you have a culture that doesn't believe that, which would be mostly anybody outside the United States, that becomes a conflict. And my belief from where I sit is that if you come to this country to work, you need to follow the guidelines for this country. You need to adapt and understand. But if you're a foreign entity, a foreign company coming to this country to offer us work, then we need to be able to adjust our schedules so that we can accommodate those cultural differences. And I don't mean to be insensitive or sound insensitive, but when you come to this country, we have guidelines and rules, and they're unwritten guidelines and rules, and it's part of it's up to you to make sure you assimilate to those rules so that there are no conflicts that you have to deal with. But it does point out that Hispanics and Americans may have different expectations surrounding pace of performance, adherence to schedules and deadlines. Punctuality can be a problem. So if you come to this country to work, then it's imperative that you follow the rules and understand the culture. But it is also imperative that managers and supervisors understand and talk through that with a foreign national or somebody of a different culture, that they talk through that and give them the expectations and let them know what the expectations are of the job. Number 2 is nonverbal communication. As Americans, we are not, we don't like people in our bubble. We are very almost to the point of standoffish towards other people. We'll shake hands. But if you played soccer for many years, I've had many nationalities on my soccer teams, British, Iranian, Moroccan, Nigerian. I mean, you name it. I've had just about every Asian countries. I've had all different types of nationalities within my soccer team, and it's at first it's hard to understand. And the first real experience I had with this nonverbal communication was in high school, when we had a foreign exchange student from Brazil, and he was very touchy-feely, and that's when I understood that, we would say touchy-feely here, but that's when I understood that, I scored a goal and he came over and hugged me and kissed me on the cheek, and I was like, whoa. But, I was young, didn't understand, talked to my parents about it, and they were like, well, different cultures, they greet each other with a kiss, or, men kiss, and it's okay. So, you have to break down that barrier. You have to understand that this guy's from a different place, and this is how they act, and how this is how they communicate through nonverbal communication. So, I understood that, and I was very, I understood that's where he, and my goal was to make him feel as comfortable as possible in the United States, and he was a great guy and a great soccer player, and we had a great season that year. Number 3, preferred leadership style, and I think this can really be taken to heart for American managers, and for us as project managers. We need to understand this, and I feel the same way, is that when I read it, a study by the National Community for Latino Leadership found that only Latinos emphasize compassion and caring as qualities they want to see in their leaders. American managers usually do not get involved in personal lives of their employees, focusing primarily on performance. As far as a project manager and manager is concerned, I feel that it is our job to make our employees feel or our team members feel comfortable. I feel that if it comes down to it and somebody does need to um, vent to you about their home life, or we need to be available to listen and to understand. You have no clue. I mean, you might have a really great worker, and then all of a sudden he is just a pitiful performer. It is up to us as managers to understand why that is happening. We need to make sure that we understand that and then help them get through. And it'll be huge for that employee later on down the road that we took the time to understand the problems that person was having. And this is something that the Latino community and communities all over the world, cultures all over the world, believing that the managers should be a little bit more open to understanding of what's going on in their life. And I was a victim of this. I had not a victim, but I had a wonderful manager when I was in the Air Force, a shop manager, and he saw my performance dropping. I had some things going on, and he saw my performance dropping. He brought me into his office, and we sat down and we discussed it. And he said, I'll help you as much as I can do, but you've got to, perform still, but I will be there for you to help you. And that made huge dividends in my mind. And still today, he is still the best manager I've ever had. And it made work go a little bit easier. It made my emotions were able to get off my chest, and I was able to discuss with him what was going on. A lot of people don't want to open up, but sometimes managers, it's good to give them a little insight to what's going on so that they can understand reasons why your performance may be dropping or the reason why you might be distant at work. It's good to do that for your manager, just to give them an insight. But it's good for managers to be able to listen. And so I think that's definitely one thing that American managers should adopt is trying to get down. You don't have to be their friend, but trying to get to a personal level to say that you can empathize with them or sympathize with them, and that you understand you're there in their shoes at one point in time, and things will be okay, and that you'll get through this, and whatever we can do as a management team to help you, we'll do. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I will post I'll post the references on the blog. And like I said, Dr. Ghani, if you don't like this medium, let me know, and we'll change it up. But I kind of enjoy it, and I think it's a pretty good thing. So anyways, y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next time.